The conflict between Bangladeshi Muslims and Hindus has intensified. The reason is India's interference in Bangladesh's internal affairs and its sheltering of former Prime Minister Hasina, which has sparked strong public discontent. A few days ago, Palki Sharma released fake news suggesting that Hasina's supporters were gathering to oppose the interim government led by Dr. Yunus. However, I made a video at that time stating that she was spreading rumors. The rallies and protests on the streets of Dhaka were directed against India, because Hasina is the executioner who killed young people. India's protection of her constitutes gross interference in Bangladesh's internal affairs. Related videos can be found in Palki Sharma's playlist. I clearly used screenshots to prove that Palki cannot cure her lying disease, and in the video, I expressed support for Bangladeshi youth. However, the situation in Dhaka is now continuously heating up, which worries me. I do not want the events to escalate into violent incidents targeting Hindus. Under any circumstances, rationality and restraint should be maintained. Do not inflame racial contradictions, because if Bangladeshis did so, it would be equivalent to declaring themselves the same as Indians. But the inverted black and white reporting by Indian media also makes me extremely angry. This country has already suffered moral decay and is a veritable hell on earth. Arnab Goswami and Palki Sharma have extensively covered the protests and marches in Dhaka. Their focus is on the persecution of Hindus, with claims that some were beaten to death. Then they adopt a victim's posture, seemingly to seize the moral high ground in public opinion and gain international support. However, I want to say that violence against Hindus in Bangladesh is not a widespread phenomenon. In situations where religious emotions are inflamed, mixed with strong nationalism, violence is basically unavoidable. But who exactly has intensified the hatred and confrontation between Hindus and Muslims? I think everyone knows the answer. It is precisely that poor imitator of Mussolini, the Hindu high priest Modi. During his tenure governing Gujarat, Modi was sanctioned by the US government for shielding Hindu violent elements who persecuted Muslims. After coming to power, not only did he fail to promote reconciliation among different ethnic groups, but he repeatedly made speeches insulting Muslims, claiming that India is a Hindu nation. He promotes a Bharat cow dung empire that never existed in history, incites Hindus to demolish mosques, passes laws discriminating against Muslims, and enforces violence against Muslims domestically. I must declare that I am not a so-called advocate of Muslim culture. I am an atheist, Chinese. I never deny that Islam also has many drawbacks, but the Indian government has no right to incite Hindus to hate and persecute Muslims. Modi's behavior, in any country, constitutes racial oppression or even genocide. He should be tried and permanently imprisoned. When Modi and the clowns of BJP and RSS launch violence and discrimination against Muslims in India, Arnab Goswami, Palki Sharma, and other clowns are all cheering. They find all sorts of excuses for Modi, touting their Bharat cow dung culture as the essence of human culture. At that time, they did not see the tears of Muslims. They did not publish news demanding that Modi and BJP and RSS stop these hateful acts and protect Muslim rights. Now, when the hatred from racial confrontation spreads from India to Bangladesh and Muslims begin to fight back, they suddenly jump out to promote the protection of basic human rights. The speed of this change in style is indeed shocking. Bangladesh's affairs should be resolved by Bangladeshis themselves. Other countries can express concern about these developments. Truly neutral major powers that have not gotten involved in Bangladesh's internal affairs can offer suggestions and advice to the Bangladeshi government and people to prevent the spread of violence. But India, as a country that has long interfered in Bangladesh's internal affairs and intensified conflicts between Hindus and Muslims, has no right to speak on this matter. The only reasonable action is to shut up. Bangladeshi youth have deeply realized that having India, this poisonous snake, as a neighbor is a dangerous matter. They are not afraid to struggle against India. In addition to importing weapons from China, joining the Belt and Road Initiative, and deepening ties with China, they have also proposed many practical suggestions to the government, some of which have been recognized by Dr. Yunus. That is, if India continues to interfere in Bangladesh's internal affairs, Bangladesh will send troops to cut off India's connections with its 7 northeastern states, support the independence of those 7 states, and have them merge into Bangladesh or join China. I think this proposal is very good. Anyway, there is a territorial dispute over southern Tibet between China and India. If India dares to invade Bangladesh, China will join Bangladesh to cut off the Siliguri corridor, letting India say goodbye to its northeastern states. Those states remaining in India are poor like beggars. It is better for them to become independent and pursue a more dignified life. China has no interest in Indian territory, but recovering the southern Tibet region illegally occupied by India is still very necessary. In fact, for a country like India that is economically backward, with ignorant social customs, severe environmental pollution, and hundreds of millions of people going hungry, the best approach is to unite all domestic forces, resolve contradictions between different ethnic groups, and concentrate efforts on economic construction. Rather than fantasizing about inheriting the British Empire's colonial legacy in South Asia and interfering in the internal affairs of South Asian neighbors such as Nepal, Bhutan, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, your country is as bad as a shithole. Why not prioritize changing yourselves? Finally, I still want to once again appeal to Bangladeshi friends to avoid violent acts against Hindus if such acts indeed exist. If they are only isolated incidents, you do not need to worry about smears from Indian media. After all, this is the internet era, and the world is already tired of Indian media's fabrications. I also ask India's lie manufacturers to stop condemning Bangladesh while posing as victims. You should first urge Modi and BJP to stop persecuting Muslims, work hard to repair contradictions with neighboring countries, and stop interfering in neighbors' internal affairs. If you cannot do this, you need to understand that Bangladeshis have begun to strike back hard against you. If you dare to launch military provocations against Bangladesh, China, and Pakistan will certainly make you suffer humiliation again. You should know that a poisonous snake is unwelcome anywhere in the world.